Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be continuing with my weekly reviews for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 6. This week we got to see the mid-season finale for The Walking Dead Season 6 for the first half of The Walking Dead Season 6, and then we will return in February for the second half of the season with the final 8 episodes. This week was The Walking Dead Season 6 Episode 8, the mid-season finale, which was called Start to Finish. Okay, cool. So yeah, we got to see The Walking Dead Season 6 Episode 8, which was the mid-season finale called Start to Finish, although some people are complaining online that it didn't quite finish because of the cliffhanger we got at the end with Sam saying, "Mom, Mom, Mom." Yeah, so I got some notes here which I'll go off of and I'll kind of generally talk about the episode. Um, I will say first of all that I've seen a lot of complaining online this season as to, like, you know, the pace and there's not enough zombie action. I've always seen that as a complaint for The Walking Dead, and people need to know that this is a show that's about the characters. That's why we get so much character development, is because the writers, Robert Kirkman himself, the creator of The Walking Dead, of course, they want you to care about these characters so that when they do die and when they do get killed kind of horrifically or suddenly, that you actually care. So, you know, why do you think McFarlane Toys make figures for, you know, Rick, Carl, Carol, Daryl, Glenn, all the rest, so that you want them, you know, on your shelf and stuff? Anyway, so yeah, if all you want from a zombie show is to see zombies get killed every episode and have like a zombie fest sort of thing, then go watch Ash vs Evil Dead and don't watch The Walking Dead. Anyway, with that out of the way, first thing I'd like to talk about is Carl and Ron. So we kind of saw at the end of episode 7 that you know, Ron was taking the gun out of the you know, back of his trousers, whatever, his back pocket, ready to shoot Carl, just ready to put him down, kind of right in the middle of the sort of street almost. We then saw, you know, at the end of episode 7, the tower collapsing onto the wall, taking down the wall, and then, you know, start this episode we do see it again, you know, kind of to remind us. Then we see this big, like, mist and fog and stuff like that, and then the zombies come through. We then see you know, Rick and Deanna. You know, Rick shoots a few zombies to kind of clear the path a bit and sort of clear the ones that are getting close to him. And then we then see basically most of them scurry into the house and kind of try to defend themselves. Yeah, then we get some scenes with Carl and Ron. Basically, you know, they kind of threaten each other almost. You know, Ron was like, you know, you killed my dad. Sorry, not you killed my dad. You know, your dad's a monster. And Carl's like, well, guess what? Your dad was as well. You know, because what he did to his family. Um, we then see, you know, Carl basically point his gun at Ron and say, you know, give me your gun. And then, you know, in the middle of all the zombie, like, kind of madness, you see the two of them come out, and Carl tries to, like, calm the situation down and help. And then Rick sort of says, like, you know, was there any trouble? And Carl doesn't want to, like, worry Rick, I guess. So he's kind of like, no, and then just kind of tries to help. So yeah, I think this is good character development for Carl, and I think if anyone needs it at this point in The Walking Dead, it's Carl. He hasn't had that much screen time this season. He's had some. We've seen him with Judith, you know, in the pram and stuff like that, being a good brother. So we kind of saw that as well. So if anyone needs character development in this show, it would probably be Carl. Next up I have to talk about is Diana. We saw the death of Diana in this episode. What I'm going to do at the end of this review as well is play the Walking Dead intro again and then talk about some comic spoilers. So yeah, that will give you guys a chance to leave if you haven't read the comics, etc. So yeah, we saw the death of Diana in this episode, and I like the way it was done. Some people were saying, you know, she could have led the zombies away and stuff like that. which is true, but would she have made it? Would she have like got caught in the middle and got killed, and then that plan would have gone to waste? We saw her like when Rick and the rest did like the guts trick from season 1 all the way back from season 1. We saw Diana stay behind. She kind of went to shoot herself, and then kind of went out almost in a blaze of glory. She sort of started to shoot some zombies, and it was strange. You saw her like scream, but it was like muted. So you kind of just saw her facial expression, and then that's the last you saw of her. Which she was bitten anyway, so even if she didn't get killed in that scene, it doesn't mean that she's not dead because she got bitten. Which means that she'll eventually die anyway in turn. I imagine that she was probably fully eaten after that. Maybe we'll see her again, maybe. Like, we'll see sort of kind of like they did with Herschel in season 4. We saw his head when we came back for the second half of season 4. So I did like the way they dealt with Diana, and Diana kind of saying to Rick and Michonne, like, this is kind of your place now, that kind of thing, like trying to pass the torch on, basically. There was also strange bits with the fact that like Rick left Judith and Diana in the same room, and then Diana kind of was leaning over the what's called a crib thing, where Judith was sleeping, and it looked like she was trying to attack her, and then Rick was like, get off. He almost killed Diana. He almost like just macheted her in the head, which was kind of dramatic scenes, and that it was pretty good. And then, Diana says, I just wanted to see Judith one last time. And some people on the internet like, why? If that was the case, at least wait till it's safer. I guess she has like, I don't know, like, even if she wasn't leaning in the crib and she was laying on the floor and she turns, she's got no control of herself, like her human self after that, because she'd be turned. So she could have got up and then just leaned over and eaten Judith. So I'm not sure how I feel about all that. It was quite strange to leave Diana in the same room as Judith. But Rick had a lot going on. So next thing I have to talk about is the Wolf, Carol, and Morgan. A lot of people are saying now that they want Morgan dead. I think it'd be a good idea if maybe Rick exiles him or something. Because the Wolf could shoot someone else, and that will cause trouble, and then Rick will get to the bottom of it eventually. Carol would say, Morgan had this wolf. By wolf, I don't mean an actual wolf. I mean the W's on their heads. They're called wolves. That's just like the gang name or whatever. So we see him kind of, we see him escape with, I think it's Denise, the doctor. That's her name. And then we don't really see what happens to them after that. But it's just like the way Morgan would actually choose to fight against Carol, body slam her, to avoid getting rid of a known problem. Like, Morgan knows that the wolf is a problem. If he'd have said to, like, fair enough, he doesn't want to kill, you can understand that, but if he'd have said, when Morgan and Carol were squaring off, if Morgan said to Carol, Morgan said, I'm gonna stand to the side, and Carol, you go and kill him, I think that would have been better, but I guess they wanted, the wolf to escape with Denise, that kind of thing, to create more, like, to set up possibly another scene later, which I'll talk about. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that, and see what happens with all the rest of the characters as well. And of course, with the after credits scene, I don't know if you guys were stayed tuned after the credits. We saw basically it went back to where Daryl, Rosita, and Abraham are. They were still in that same truck that they were in episode 6. Yeah, episode 6. And then they drive up to these bikers, and then basically they get out. The biker says to them, all of your stuff now belongs to us. No, sorry, all of your stuff now belongs to Negan. It's kind of when this leader of the bikers is speaking to the rest, they're kind of like, what are you talking about? This is our stuff, kind of thing. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out next season. If you want to stay tuned after when I talk about some comic stuff, stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's pretty much my review for this week's episode of Walking Dead. I'll maybe do some death predictions. The show won't be back till February, so I could do some death predictions for the next season, for the next half of the season, do some predictions as well. I'll do that in a separate video. But yes, my review for this week's episode, I'll give it a 9.2 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. I basically just didn't have a problem with it, and I liked it a lot, so I don't see why I can't give it something high as that. Um, but yeah, if you guys want to stay tuned after when I play the intro again and then talk some comic spoilers, feel free to do so. So spoilers to follow. If you haven't read the comics up to this point, or up to the same point as this is now in the TV show, because the comics are ahead, um, click out now. But if you want to subscribe, please feel free to do so. Please thumb this video up. Please like it, share it, favorite it, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's talk some comic spoilers after the intro. So click out now if you don't want spoilers. Cool, so if you're still here and you've read the comics up to this point or beyond this point, by up to this point I mean the point the comics would be at this point, as to where the show is. So my prediction basically is that I don't think Ron will be the one to shoot Carl, because we know he loses his eye in the comic books. Um, I don't think Ron will be the one to do it. It will either be Ron, or I think because it's been made clear that the wolf, again, not a wolf, the guy with the W, the wolf, because he has the gun, I have a feeling that he'll get out there, he'll get outside, and then maybe, because he's got Denise with him, he'll kind of maybe try and push Denise into a crowd of zombies and run off the other way, so kind of to distract the zombies, and then he'll run off. I think he'll get caught. He'll then have Douglas's death from the comics, which is, Douglas is, Diana in the show. They swapped the gender basically for the TV show, but of course Diana has had a different death. So if the wolf has Douglas's death from the comics, where he's being like eaten and stuff like that, and he's being kind of pulled down, and he like shoots some like stray shots basically, and one of them hits Carl in the eye and then takes his eye out. So that's what I think might happen, and then something else might happen with Ron. He possibly gets eaten as well, and then I think we'll get the same scene from the comics where all the Jesse stuff basically. I think that will all happen. So I think that's how that will go down, and then Rick and Michonne will kind of try and call Denise over to get Carl inside to work on him immediately because he's just lost his eye. And then I think that's kind of all the comic spoilers I have. The Negan stuff is not really worth talking about yet because he's not actually in the show yet. He's just been mentioned. But if you guys want to know who Negan is, just Google him. Or if you've read the comics like you should have, if you're watching this part of the video. Yeah, it's pretty awesome that he's being mentioned and he's being introduced soon. I think it's at the end of season 6 apparently. He's going to make like a cameo appearance and then make a bigger appearance in season 7. So that's pretty much all the comic stuff I wanted to talk about. Basically, the stuff with Douglas, who is Diana, happening to the wolf, and then Carl losing his eye, and the Jesse stuff as well. So yeah, that's it for my full video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you some point maybe in the mid-season break. I'll do like a death prediction and stuff like that, my predictions for next season. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.